Have you ever wondered about what happened to Kunigami in the Wildcard? What changed his personality? How did he become the fallen hero? Continue watching this video to find out. Before we start the video, please note that the story I am about to tell is based on my own thinking and it is 100% not canon at all, so you may have thoughts that would not agree with mine. This is purely fan fiction and the real storyline will surely be different when it gets talked about in the manga in the future. If anything, Kunigami's flashback might be shown during the Bastard Munchen vs PXG match due to it being a rematch between him and Shido. And by the way, thank you all as well for 3,000 subscribers. So, without wasting any more time, let's get on with the video. Well, everything starts in chapter 94, when it was revealed that Kunigami was eliminated by the demon Shido. It seemed like Kunigami and Ryo got utterly destroyed during their match against Shido and Igarashi. After the devastating match, Kunigami exits through the loser's gate as he cries and believes that his football career is over. However, he sees a two-headed arrow on the ground that points towards two different gates. One was towards the exit and one was towards the wildcard. As he grows curious, he slowly walks towards the entrance, hoping that this would lead him to another chance in competing in bluelock. As he enters the room, he looks around and sees not only regular strangers participating in the bluelock program, but also people that he recognizes. He sees people who seem to be eliminated from different teams and stages such as Kuon, Okawa, Ryo Namioka, Naruhaya, and other Team Z members. I was thinking of whether Kira would appear in the wildcard or not, but it seems like he wouldn't be appearing in the wildcard. I doubt that Kira would be used in the wildcard only to be smacked once again and not by Isagi. If he were to appear back in the manga, I think it would be in a future U20 or World Cup game, wherein Kira evolves into a better player, maybe even an egoist like the rest. Who's to say that the author can't just mention that Kira's mother is from a foreign country? That's all it takes to change the whole story. However, it is looking like he won't be coming back and was just used as a representation of Japanese football. This, however, does not mean that it isn't a possibility. Naruhaya then greets Kunigami and asks him how he's been. They then talk for a while and share about what happened to the both of them. Naruhaya says that he entered the wildcard with hopes of getting a second chance to be able to provide for his family. As his backstory was revealed to Kunigami, he wishes him the best and hopes that he can find a way to support his family. Kunigami then explains to him his encounter with Shido and how he ended up in the wildcard program. It wasn't a wonderful experience, but he plans on getting his happy ending some way or another. If he had the chance to go back and do things differently, he would. He then thinks about what Shido told him, but Kuon approaches them as well and joins their conversation. As they are talking, they get interrupted by Igo Jinpachi. Igo Jinpachi appears in the huge monitor staring right at the participants. He gives a speech talking about how these lumps of talent have ended up here. He knew that there would be certain people who wouldn't accept the defeat that was handed to them. Therefore, he has created a plan to use this defeat as a way of sharpening these unpolished gems. Igo Jinpachi then introduces his contingency plan, the Wildcard program, a survival game that aims to create a player with a similar physical build as the world's #1 striker, Noah Noah. Although it plans on creating a player with similar physical abilities as Noah, it does not mean that it aims to create the same mindset. He then explains that this will consist of two phases, a training period and a 1v1 tournament. During the training phase, players will have to improve their specs, which include their strength, endurance, and ambidexterity. It will heavily impact your performance in this round if you are unable to keep up and adapt with the use of your off leg. In order to make it through to the next phase, you will be evaluated in a 1v1 match with another bluelock man that is programmed to intensively defend you in an uncomfortable manner that will force you to have to play with your off leg. You need to score 3 goals in order to beat the bluelock man, but at the same time, you are also competing against yourself as only 8 players will be able to make it through the next phase. The top 8 players with the fastest completion time will make it through. The 1v1 tournament will then be a battle for a spot to rise back to the top and compete to become the world's best striker. This will be a single elimination bracket and is arranged based on your completion times. The best time will compete with the worst and so on. Only goals with your non-dominant leg will be counted, as the data on the player's dominant leg has already been taken off beforehand. If you're listed as ambidextrous, well then that's good for you. Igo Jinpachi states that different philosophies will be forced upon them. This way, you will find what philosophy fits best for each player. This is where different mental abilities would differ from Noah's. With this, it would seem like Kunigami, the hero, would have to take on an irrational way of playing football in order to climb his way to the top. He may gain stats similar to Noah Noah, but he would have a different way of thinking. Assuming that he thinks similarly in a way to Noah, it would just make him a pure bootleg. Therefore, Ego Jinpachi plans on making a monster that disregards the rational way of playing football and only aims to score goals for oneself. All participants are then given their own room, and the training starts with intense body workouts such as high-speed treadmill exercises, weightlifting, and drills with a non-dominant leg. If you fail these exercises 3 times in total, you're automatically eliminated. However, Kunigami was able to force his way through the evaluation due to his stats, but his heroic mindset is still a hindrance. After the results of the first phase, Kunigami places 6, but is still part of the top 8 players who made it through the next phase. Ego Jinpachi is disappointed as he expected more from him and has a one-on-one talk with Kunigami through the monitor and brings up the match against Shido in the second selection. Kunigami does not want to hear it, and Ego Jinpachi agrees that he wouldn't want to hear him at all since all he wants to do is lose, as long as it's fair and just. This annoys Kunigami and he lets Ego Jinpachi talk. He realizes that Kunigami seems to care more about others rather than himself and says that it is what's holding him back from being great. He says that if you can't understand your own pain when you are powerless, you will not be able to gain true strength. This line reminds Kunigami about Shido telling him that people who can't destroy themselves can never create explosions. With this in mind, he worries about what this could mean going forward. There's a conflict within himself as making it through the wildcard would mean that he would have to crush everybody participating. Ego notices that he may be looking out for others while trying to win for himself as well, but he mentions that by staying on the fence, it will just lead him to his downfall. He says that if you want to be the star of your own story, you need to throw away any common sense and start playing for yourself and score your own goals if you want to be a true football hero. The monitor then shuts off and leaves Kunigami to think on his own, leaving him with no sleep. The Wildcard 1v1 tournament then consists of Kunigami, Ryo Namioka, Naruhaya, and a bunch of other random players. Kunigami realizes that everybody else on Team Z in the Wildcard program have been eliminated. He then gets matched up against Naruhaya in the first round, who surprisingly got the 3rd best completion time against the bluelock man. Naruhaya then asks Kunigami why he's shocked and tells him not to underestimate him. As the match starts, Naruhaya shockingly gets a 2-0 lead. He thanks Kunigami for being so nice and helping him provide for his family, and starts suddenly talking trash. However, this is the time when Kunigami awakens and destroys his fair and square persona. He now knows what he lacks in becoming the best. He doesn't care about Naruhaya or his backstory, and says that he doesn't call himself a hero anymore. He says that all of his hard work would be for nothing if he lets a nobody take his dream away from him, and he won't let what happened to him in the second selection happen again. Kunigami then instantly turns things around with his overwhelming stats and irrational way of playing in order to just score goals. Kunigami then smirks as he wins and sees Naruhaya crying on the floor. As Naruhaya gets eliminated, this would be the end of Kunigami's hero title as he has eliminated someone in need. But it doesn't matter to him as he can still be a hero in his own story by scoring the most goals. He wouldn't be considered an egoist as his own ego was shattered since a different philosophy was forced onto him which altered his mindset and way of playing. He will then crush his way through the wildcard and eliminate Ryo Namioka in the end and become the fallen hero. He then swears to get revenge on Shido and make him suffer in despair. In the end, he has not only destroyed others, but also himself in order to have a chance in becoming the world's best striker. With Kunigami on top, it seems like Ego Jinpachi's backup plan has turned out to be a success, unless he doesn't keep up in the Neo-Egoist League. What do you think happened to Kunigami in the wildcard? What event happened that truly changed his character? And if you have other what-if ideas that you would like to see, let me know down in the comments. Have you ever wondered how Chigiri would surpass Julia and Loki? Check this video out right here. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content just like this. Thank you for watching.